And you mentioned the only way to deal with that, or one of the major ways to deal with that, is to drive direct traffic and build a relationship with that customer. How did you really refine and build that loyalty scheme at hotels.com?
Yeah, man, I would say this is one of the biggest successes I've had in my career. And I certainly can't take credit for all of it. We had a product team in Dallas that came up with this in the US business. And this product team that we had, we pulled a lot of folks from strategy consulting companies to help us develop our product there in the early days. And what we did was we felt like, you know what, there might be something here to this loyalty program thing. We're probably losing business to hotel. We weren't thinking about other competitors, but we were thinking about hotels at the time, chains. We're probably losing business to chains because they have loyalty programs. So we went to this kind of exhaustive research study, focus groups and qualitative research. And what we found was, yeah, that's the case. There are loyalty programs that come with these chains that are enticing for consumers. And so, especially for business consumers that also, that they also go into the leisure side, at some point during the year, that they can accumulate points through the business side and then use them for leisure. So what that put us onto was, okay, all right, great. We like the loyalty program. So how do we compete against them? And so what we learned in the process was consumers consistently said the hotel chain loyalty programs are complex. It takes me 25 to 30 nights before I get something for free. There are blackout dates, where I can't use them on, for Christmas or Thanksgiving. And in certain cities, let's say, I'll use Santa Fe, New Mexico, which is a very cool cultural city in New Mexico. There are not many chains there, So let's say Hilton had an Embassy Suites, maybe a Hampton Inn, and maybe Hilton there, 3 hotels maybe. Well, there are like, 20, 30 awesome independent hotels in Santa Fe, right downtown. And so if you wanted to go to Santa Fe, you had more choice if you used a non-chain, if you will. So we thought, okay, there's some advantages here that we can create something that'll fix these gaps that we see in the marketplace. And we introduced in the research process, we introduced what we call the punch card loyalty program, something like you might see in a sandwich shop down the street. Where you say, I'm going to buy 10 sandwiches, I get the 11th one for free. We said, we're going to make it super simple. And we launched it in the US, and it's one of those things where we were a little scared because it has an impact on your P&L. Every night that you give to a consumer, you're accruing an expense. And so we waited for the longest time, even in the US, before we kind of went wide with it, because we wanted to make sure that we understood what the P&L impact was. And, it was super successful. We ended up rolling it out worldwide. It's been a big driver of retention for hotels.com for many years.
And what was the big lesson you learned from that process about building a kind of customer facing loyalty machine?
Yeah, it's not my first one that I've been involved with. I mentioned, or I may have mentioned, I was in my early days. I worked for Accenture. We developed loyalty programs for Hilton and Harrah's, Caesar's Palace, and so forth. So I think the big lesson learned in this was, again, it goes back to being a startup. How do you think like a startup? How do you find holes or gaps in the marketplace that are not being addressed? And then you come up with something that is so good that it's hard for a consumer to say no to. And, I think that it was one of those where loyalty programs are pervasive. If you do one super simple, you can make it really compelling for a consumer. And so it's kind of been my mindset in product development ever since, in learning, this process is, that trying to find that gap and then looking for a product fit to improve that customer experience.